So everything in this world is animated by one of two charges, one of which is the masculine charge and the other is the feminine charge. Now the masculine charge is things that are ordered, things that have structure, things that follow logic, things that can be attained by direct effort through discipline, through diligence, through perseverance, through repetition, through force. Now to most men their world ends there, but the most diligent of men see the second charge, and that is the feminine charge. And these are things that follow no logic. They have no patterns, they have no structure. They are chaos instilled into being. These things are unpredictable. These things do not follow logic, they follow emotion. Receptivity, attraction, these are all key themes with the feminine charge. Now, I find it extremely ironic that although we have these huge movements in the modern day like feminism, true femininity is actually rather persecuted and diminished, because feminism is essentially the masculinization of women, women being their own protectors, their own providers, and it lessens women's connection to their own feminine. And of course, when it comes to men, the feminine charge is something that's quite alien to us already. So it is in the modern day that we see a tragic lack of this feminine charge and the implementation of it. But this becomes really interesting when you look at it from a civilizational perspective, because it may seem obvious that if a society gravitates too much towards this feminine charge, towards chaos, guess what happens? Anarchy. But what you don't realize that if a society gravitates too much towards structure, you get tyranny. For example, in the French Revolution, they borderline worshipped this masculine charge. They embodied hyper-rationalization, even to the point where they literally had 10 months in a calendar year, and they started from the year zero, and they had to have 100 seconds to a minute, 100 minutes to an hour, etc, etc. And of course, there was a massive movement towards de-Christianization. Now that sounds familiar, because in the modern day we are also gravitating towards that hyper order, except this time it's AI, it's algorithms, it's bureaucracy, it is surveillance. And think about it, in the West particularly, what is the most popular religion? Well, it's science. And what is science but the study of the world through a masculine lens? Everything must have a pattern to it, everything must have order to it. Anything with a feminine charge must fit through this masculine lens. And like I said, miracles cannot occur under observation, so a miracle can never be observed in a study. So it is that science is just accepted because they cannot see it, they cannot observe it, that it cannot exist. And thus science, unbeknownst to many who follow its doctrines, actually becomes a cult, born out of its own arrogance and ignorance. And don't get me twisted, of course logic is useful, but logic has diminishing returns. Like I said, we're balanced on a spectrum, we want to be in the middle. And this is why when we look at the ancient world, it almost seems like a different universe. You know, you go to Ireland, you hear tales of folklore, tales of the banshee. You look at old England, you hear of fairies, of pixies, of vampires, of werewolves, to the point where if we call something a myth, that literally means to us something that's bullshit. But the reason why we look at this world of old through such a hypercritical lens is because we have strangled the mystical out of our world. Everything is recorded, there is cameras everywhere. We've invested into this cult of science, of logic, this worship of order, and thus the miraculous cannot occur. And this is why you have sailors' tales, that they go out on these vast adventures into the ocean, which is the epitome of mystery. Even today, you could still say there is mystery in the ocean. And that is where they see things that are supernatural, that are miraculous, that are mythological, because there is still space for the miraculous to occur. And science also is the rejection of faith, because you have to understand, like, the main function of this world is to test our faith. The reason there is no proof of God is because if there was proof of God, then there would be no test. There could be no such thing as faith. And thus, there is no undeniable proof to facilitate faith. So that is the true test. But the reality is, in the modern day, people will never venture from logic. And they think it's a house of logic, but in reality it's a prison. Because life is about risk, life is about uncertainty, it is about embracing that, it is about flowing in the tides of life and not sure where you're ending up, but just following that divine compass inside your heart. And they want to take that from you, but your belief is very, very powerful. Now, of course, to wheel back to my original point, right? Society, you don't want it venturing too much towards this chaos because you need structure, right? And without that structure, you may well have anarchy. But similarly, you don't want it to venture to too much hyper order, because with hyper order becomes surveillance, becomes tyranny. So you need a balance in the middle. Sufficient structure to organize us and keep society flowing, but not too much to imprison us, and enough to leave space for the miraculous, mystical, mythical things to occur. Now, of course, this sounds quite abstract and quite whimsical, but fundamentally, as in the macro, so in the micro. If something is reflected on a grand civilizational scale, you can also reflect it in your life itself. So you cannot fix civilization as a whole, but you can insert pockets within your own life. but a lot of men have the tendency to over-systemize their life, and they have no space in their day for anything to occur. Everything is the same routine, the same system, and then they wonder why they're miserable, because you need to leave space in your day, leave pockets in your calendar where anything could happen. Go on a walk without expectation. So many men over-systemize their life, they're given freedom and they create prison with it. So that's the key thing, for example, with something like a daily routine. You want to identify the point of diminishing returns in a system, and that's all the structure you want to your day, because space is vital. And like so many guys expect miracles to occur in their day, but they don't have any space in it. It's like they want to meet women, but where are you going to meet women? What, between work block 1 and work block 2? Like, so don't be the guy that seeks freedom but accidentally imprisons yourself in a system. Now, you can choose to walk through your local forest and just think, oh, it's just a park. Or you can think this is a mystical woodland of ancient tales, of trolls that hide under bridges and fairies that live in mounds. Because if you give space for something to exist in your mind, who knows? It may just exist in the real world. Take the free path of knighthood assessment below, gentlemen. God bless, and keep trying.